Want to catch more Crucian carp? Master these key details. Fishing, as a leisure activity, is being accepted by more and more people, and Crucian carp has become the preferred target fish for many anglers. The reason is that Crucian carp has a wide distribution and relatively small size, making it easier to catch. Catching Crucian carp may seem simple, but if you really want to catch more and better, there are some small details that cannot be ignored. 1. Choose the right fishing tackle. When fishing for Crucian carp, especially those of common sizes, the hook should not be too large. Small hooks such as size 2 or 3 sleeve hooks are more suitable. Crucian carp have small mouths, and small hooks are easier for them to inhale smoothly, increasing the chance of hooking. At the same time, the fishing line should also be thin. It is ideal to choose a main line usually between 0.8 and 1.2, and a subline between 0.4 and 0.8. Thin lines are less noticeable in the water and can reduce the vigilance of Crucian carp. Of course, the thickness of the line should also take into account the size of the possible fish to avoid being easily broken. 2. Selection and use of bait. Live small red earthworms are a classic choice for fishing Crucian carp, and they usually work well. When threading the hook, after the tip of the hook penetrates the earthworm, remember to leave a small section in front of the hook tip so that it can twist naturally in the water, which is very attractive to fish. If the skin of the earthworm segment exposed by the hook tip is intact, it is best to pinch it or make a small cut. In this way, the body fluid and the unique earthy smell in the earthworm can be released into the water more quickly, which is the key to attracting Crucian carp. However, it should be noted that even if no fish takes the bait or the earthworm does not seem to be bitten, replace it with a new one after soaking in water for about 15 to 20 minutes. After a long time, the smell and vitality of the earthworm will be greatly reduced, and the effect of luring fish will be poor. Keeping the bait fresh and strong in flavor is an important guarantee for continuous catches. 3. Understand the float signals and grasp the timing of lifting the rod. The fish situation underwater is reflected through the float. If you see the float suddenly and violently sink or be dragged away quickly, it is mostly small trash fish disturbing the hook. Crucian carp, on the other hand, are much more cautious when taking the bait. They will first, which is shown by the float moving up and down slightly in a small range or trembling. At this time, you must be patient and not rush to lift the rod. Wait patiently for that key signal. When the float rises steadily by 1 mesh, 2 meshes, or even more, it indicates that the Crucian carp has sucked the hook and bait into its mouth and raised its head or turned around. This is the best time to lift the rod, and the fish hooking rate is very high. 4 Skills for lifting the rod to hook the fish. When you see the signal of a fish taking the bait, use the instant force of your wrist, cooperate with the forearm to lift the rod upward quickly and briefly, so that the hook can pierce the fish's mouth quickly. Note that you don't need much strength. Some people like to jerk the rod hard, which can easily hook the fish's mouth and cause it to escape, or break the fishing line, and sometimes the big movement will scare away other fish in the nest. At the moment of lifting the rod, if you can feel the resistance of the hook catching the fish's mouth, it means you have hooked it. After confirming that you have hooked the fish, judge the size of the fish based on the feel. If the fish feels large and the pulling force is heavy, never pull it hard. At this time, use the elasticity of the fishing rod to walk the fish. Finally, Understanding the characteristics of the bait and choosing a good fishing spot can make half the effort. The farmed small red earthworms bought in the market are bright in color, active in wriggling, and have a strong and long-lasting fishy smell, which is very attractive to Crucian carp. However, their bodies are relatively soft and slippery, and Crucian carp can sometimes accurately suck the earthworm off the hook or suck it without swallowing the hook, resulting in no bait left when lifting the rod. In this case, just replace it with a new bait in time. In terms of choosing a fishing spot, priority should be given to places that have not been fished for a long time or are rarely fished. Crucian carp in such places have low vigilance, often rush to eat when they see food, and are relatively easy to catch. Sometimes, you can get good results even without pre-baiting. Author profile: I am a self-media blogger who loves fishing and is good at sharing. Follow me, and let's exchange fishing skills and discuss every bit of wild fishing for anglers. Give a like, collect, and follow to avoid getting lost in the next update.